Alright, so I have an iPad Pro here. The guy said there's a deadline down the middle of the screen, and he tried it with another brand new screen, and same thing, deadline. So I got it, and I tried it, and sure enough, there's a deadline down the screen. So he sent another LCD as well. I don't carry test screens there for iPad for the big iPad Pro 12.9 inch. So he sent two LCDs from the same vendor, and I tested that one, and sure enough, there was a deadline down the screen. So what I noticed was that the deadline was actually in two different spots. Okay, and two different spots on the two different screens. So, and I looked at the connector. There's a little bit of damage, but nothing that would probably cause a a dead line down the screen. All right, it looked like it was just a little bit damaged. I'll show you what it looks like. So I can get this sucker off. All right, so okay, so this is the big mother. I don't even have enough room for this thing on my bench here, but this is what the connector looks like. I mean, if we zoom in here, he also had a bad. Yeah, also blew this filter right here, and he said that he lost touch after he did that. So, just for reference, there's no schematics out there right now, but if you ever lose touch on your digitizer, this big mother right there, that's your touch filter. So, if you look at this connector here, I mean, it looks like it's a little bit damaged, but it's not going to be enough to cause a dead line down the screen. I mean, this is, it's not like a piece is missing or anything, and I don't see anything else wrong with it, So, and the fact that it's in two separate spots tells me this, okay, and here's what it is. On these iPad Pros, there is something called a daughter board, alright? I don't know what's in this thing, but let me see if maybe I can switch. So they got this daughter board here, okay, and you can buy these LCDs with this thing already on there, or you can buy it without it and then solder it yourself. And here's what we're looking at. So when we talk about the solder part, we're talking about this part right here. There's two. It's a flex connector. I don't know if the touch chips. I imagine touch chips are probably embedded in this, behind this thing right here. Alright, but anyways, so you got two sets of pads right here, the two different sets of connectors, and I think it's integrated. Like, I don't think, maybe one side is LCD, maybe one side's digitizer, but I don't think it is. I think they're integrated somehow, meaning they're both digitizer and LCD. So anyway, so let's take a look on the. So with these flexes pre-soldered on, my guess is that if there's a dead spot, then you probably have a bad solder joint somewhere. The question is where. I mean, it could be. I mean, if we just zoom in right here, you can kind of see how. I mean, this is. Look at this right here. I mean, this is not a good joint right here. Do you see this right here? I mean, this is not a good joint right here. Like, that is not a good joint. I mean, there should be solder flowing out of that thing. That's not a good joint. Maybe that's ground. I don't know. That's not a good joint right there. That's not a good joint. So, and like that, I don't even know if that's connected or not. Maybe it is. Like, that's not good. So, what I'm going to do is, what I could do is figure out, okay, so that you have little joints right here, which you can kind of scrape off, and then these are vias, and then you can kind of test the continuity from here to here. That's one way to do it. The next way to do it is to just pre-flow everything, just resolder everything, and hopefully it fixes the problem. So that's what I'm going to do, because I don't. Yeah, I guess I could scrape away, but what is? I mean, maybe I will do that. I don't know. But the thing is this: it's only the top set of pins that this is for. I don't think. Yeah, this is only for the top set of pins. So the question is, where do the bottom set of pins lead? No idea. So let's just do a few of them. It's not gonna hurt, right? Yeah, that's not. This is not gonna work. I'll just do 4 of them, 5 of them. So put your thing in continuity mode, and then we'll just check. What we could do is just do the ones that look bad, like this one here, suspect. This one here looks suspect. This one's suspect. So let's just check those 3. I mean, it's probably only 1 or 2 pins. It's my guess. That's bad. So, anyways, let's just go through the whole thing, man. I mean, let's just go through the whole thing. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it's not shorted too. If it's short, no, it's not shorted because we can kind of see through the flex. And the sad thing is that it's just really just 1 pin that's jacked up. I gotta do it all over. But I didn't even solder this thing. I mean, he bought it pre-assembled, and I'm hoping this is it. I mean, how else am I gonna know? And then even after I fix it, I'm not gonna know which pin it was that was bad, since I'm reflowing all of them. So I guess if you buy these things pre-soldered, then I think they only charge like 50, 60 bucks more to have it pre-soldered. So you might as well just do it, because if you send it to me, it's gonna be probably about 100 bucks. So this one actually had 2 lines, 2 separate lines. So I'm fairly certain that this is the problem. Okay. So let's do the other side. This is not the most exciting, is it? But it's kind of like a charge port repair here. But curious to see if this fixes it or not. I wonder if people do these by hand or not. You know, I mean, it's got to be a hand job, right? Hand job, hand job. All right, I think we're good. Man, if this doesn't work, if it's still that same dead damn spot, then we're gonna have a talk. Shit. We gonna talk. Let throw this cruddy thing away. You know what? Let me throw it. Q-tips are a dime a dozen, and here I am using the same damn Q-tip. One Q-tip the entire day. No, that's not true, but all right. All right, let's just take one little gander at it, and that looks pretty good. I see one that probably needs to be redone, so let me just redo that one real quick. This one. I'll put a little flux on this mother. Yeah, let's put a little flux on it just because I don't want to. All right, clean this last bit up right here. IPA that mother. And let's go. Let's see if this works or not. Alright, so it took me about freaking 15 minutes to get these stupid connectors on. These things are so annoying. The connectors are in the middle of the logic board, and you have to kind of arc the screen a little bit. But anyway, so I fixed the problem. Alright, so you can kind of see here. I'll try to get So there was a dead line on this side of the screen earlier, and all is good now. So if you have a dead line on the screen of an iPad Pro, it's probably the daughter board solder joint. And if you bought it from somebody who did it, then they probably didn't do a good job. And you can probably return the screen, I imagine, because it's going to cost you at least 100 to get someone a micro solder. Well, I wouldn't say at least 100. I don't know how much other people are doing it for, but I'll probably charge about $100 for this. So anyways, so that's it. And another thing that I learned is, I'll show you. See if I can do this without. Alright, so another thing I learned is, let's see if I can, well, I'm going to jack things up if I do this, I think. Hold on, let me pause it. So I was going to say that another thing I learned was that this cord right here is, I believe, the backlight, because as I was testing it, I disconnected this flap right here. You see it? This right here. And I noticed that there's no backlight on. So I imagine that this thing right here, this flex right here, is the backlight. So if you ever have a backlight problem and you've ruled out the actual logic board, since there's no schematics yet, we're still just trying to figure this out ourselves. So there you go. That's how you fix a dead line on an iPad Pro 12.9-inch screen.